Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 378. Andrew here, and it is very warm. Quite warm indeed. I've got that fan going, I've got that fan going. Summer. But it's not as hot here in Southern California as it is in many places, so I'm doing alright. So, I was looking at the news last night, and people started reporting Disney stuff, and a lot of Disney stuff, and I was like, Disney must be doing a thing. And indeed, Disney was, and I think still is, doing a thing. So Disney's doing the D23 convention, or whatever the hell it's called, which means that they didn't get it out of their system at Comic-Con the other week, so they had more stuff for their own convention. And, I read the news and watched the trailers, and the first thing that stuck out was the trailer for Snow White, which is a live-action remake of the, Disney classic from the 30s. When did Snow White come out? Let me see. Snow White. No, not. There was a 2005 film. What? All right. Let's see. When was the Disney film? Why is it so difficult to find the damn Disney movie? Where is it? $1937. Okay, there we go. I was correct. 30s. Hooray! No, I meant the animated Disney adaptation. Yeah, the Grimm's Fairy Tale would have been 19th century, early 19th century. Something. Well, I'm on the page. Let's see. First published in 1812. So yes. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, so they're Disney, because they're making live-action remakes of just everything for some reason. Maybe a good reason, being that they make a lot of money. Even though what's funny is I actually looked at like a year or two ago. I looked at a list of all of the live-action Disney remakes. And I've not seen a single one of them. And that wasn't like something I decided to do. I wasn't like harumphing and going, I'm not going to watch them. It just so happened that I just never saw any of them. The only ones I'd actually be interested in seeing are not really remakes. They're just spin-offs. The Maleficent movie. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Still haven't seen it. That's an interesting idea. That's not a remake of Sleeping Beauty. It's a completely different movie, so I don't know if that actually counts as a remake. I don't. Your mileage may vary. But yeah, I haven't seen any of them. Can't say I'm interested in seeing the Snow White live-action thing. I saw the trailer and it did nothing for me. It's like, yeah, that looks like a live-action Snow White. I've seen the animated version, so I don't don't really have a whole lot of incentive to see the new one. From a technical perspective, I'm kind of interested to see the various effects and stuff, but maybe just a show reel is really all I need. Is okay, that's what they're doing. All right, that's nice. But what I wanted to point out is I watched the trailer, and they're doing that thing where they take the theme. The melody of the theme that you know and love, they put it in a minor key and they play it at really slow speed. Except, what's the theme to Snow White? Well, the trailer starts out and you hear da 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 da, and I'm thinking in my head, falling down, falling down. Why is... And I was seriously confused as to why the melody for London Bridge is Falling Down was playing in the goddamn Snow White trailer. And then I realized, whistle while you work. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what they're doing there. And I just broke my my water container. Little bit just broke off there. Yeah, that's kind of broken. A little peg that one of the pegs that holds it in place is got a little flippy up bit here, so it can be closed, right? And you can open it again, but one of the pegs on the side just busted off, so. Or it was already like that because I'd broken it, or maybe, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. So, yeah. Snow White. Whistle while you work while the London Bridge falls down. Jared says, I want an Emperor's New Groove remake. It may be good. Or, like most, kind of bad. I saw Emperor's New Groove in the theater when it came out, and I really like Emperor's New Groove. I think it's pretty great. Did they make a sequel to that? Is it called The Emperor's Newer Groove? Let's see if I can find it real quick. It seems to me that there's probably a direct-to-video sequel. Not that I can see. Oh, Kronk's New Groove. Okay. So they... Oh, okay, so... Yeah. Never saw that. Camera's out of foot. God damn this camera. Thank you for telling me. There we go. Camera was disgusted with me sweating heavily and went out of focus to spare you all. So, yeah. I liked Emperor's New Groove. Alright, let's see. What else did we get at Disney, whatever it's called? We got a trailer for Agatha All Along, which is another one of the Marvel Disney Plus series. And looks fun. A bunch of witches essentially follow the yellow brick road and maybe stab each other in the back along the way. Could be fun. And it's got singing in it. And I like singing, so... I also watch all of this crap, even the stuff that's not very good, like Secret Invasion, which was pretty bad. A lot of stuff to like. I mean, you get Sam Jackson and what's his name? What's his name playing Rhodey? John Cheadle, sitting together in a scene talking, and it's just like, these actors are great, and they are. But oh man, that show was not very good. And what was the last Star Wars show that we saw? It was the Jedi Get Shanked show. It had a name. Star Wars, The Acolyte. That's what it was called. That was a weird show because it's like 8 episodes or something. Because I was sitting through the whole thing going, interesting, but whether this is a good show or not is really going to depend on what the story is, where it's going, if the questions are answered, and how well they're answered. Because it's kind of a mystery show, right? What's really going on? What really happened in the past? And, it's alright. It's okay. There's a bunch of Jedi got shanked, so I was pretty happy with the show overall, but, I think they kind of focused on some of the wrong things, and a lot of the outstanding questions were still outstanding. And I felt the show required the audience to fill in too many blanks. Like, if I'm having to use my headcanon to make your story work, like on a narrative level or a thematic level or both, I think you're dropping the ball a bit there. But Jedi did get shanked. In fact, very few of them survived. So overall, I was pretty happy with the Acolyte. One of my biggest problems with the show was who the mystery. Well, for half the show anyway. Well, wasn't even really a mystery. The is he a Sith guy in the mask? he doesn't work. I mean, he's cool. He looks cool. Charismatic as hell actor. In lots of fun fight scenes. But thematically, who is this guy and why is he here? You know, he has nothing to do with anything. It's one of the things where you're kind of having to, like, fill in the blanks yourself. It's like, well, I mean, it's kind of implied that he has this relationship with this character, so there's kind of a parallel. If I make one up, maybe. So yeah, just didn't do it for me. But again, Jedi got shanked, and I'm always happy about that. So there was a trailer for Skeleton Crew, which is the next Star Wars thing. Star Wars TV show, anyway. And this is interesting, because this is essentially a bunch of kids from the Star Wars suburbia, which we've never seen before. Maybe it's been described in books or shown in comic books, but in any of the live-action stuff, I don't think we've ever seen the burbs in Star Wars. Jared says, it's like a poorly written 3-hour pilot episode. I mean, it's like 6 hours, isn't it? The Acolyte? My take on structure, and this applies to a lot of these projects, is that it doesn't really... Honestly, I think it would have worked as just a movie rather than a really long, or an 8-part miniseries. It just... Yeah, there was a lot I liked. And I didn't think it totally held up, though. But anyway, Skeleton Crew. We got a bunch of kids hanging out in suburbia, you know, green grass, mowing the lawn, that tract houses, stuff like that, which is interesting. Never seen that in Star Wars before. And they apparently just get on a spaceship and accidentally light speed their way halfway across the galaxy and get lost. And they have adventures. And it's like, okay, there's a television show. You know, each week they, hyperspace jump somewhere new, maybe. But, I mean, they may treat it like just one long story, which not necessarily a bad thing, but... You know, it's weird, because the Netflix Marvel shows from years back, they were all too long. They forced them to be 13 episodes, and none of them wanted to be 13 episodes, so every single one of them, with the exception of maybe, like, Defenders, because it was 8 episodes, had a moment somewhere in those 13 episodes where there was, like, 3 or 4 episodes that just dragged. Because it shouldn't have been 13, because it wasn't 13 episodes worth of story. It was like 7 or 8. A lot of the stuff that's been on Disney in past years, to varying degrees of success, are at least tighter, but still don't need to be as long as they are. They do feel like they're just kind of spinning their wheels a bit. Or rather... less wheel spinning and more leisurely walking. You know, there's still forward momentum. It's just at a very leisurely pace. I think you could condense a lot of these shows into, a 2+ hour film. But I'm not a filmmaker. What do I know? Anyway, Skeleton Crew. Looks cute. It's got baby Max Rebo in it. So we've had baby Yoda, and we had baby Leia, and they were both adorable. And from what I understand, there was a baby Jabba in the early CG Clone Wars cartoon. Heard it was terrible, though. So baby Max Rebo, that is the key to success. You take a classic character and you make them a baby, and everyone loves it because they're cute, and they sell plushies. And coffee mugs and stuff. So yeah, Skeleton Crew. Looks like it could be cute. And I was watching, I'm like, hey, cool, no Jedi. And then it ends, it's like, oh, Jude Law's a Jedi? Oh, boo. Well, maybe he gets shanked. Because the only good Jedi is a shanked Jedi. And let's see, did anything else happen at Disney off the top of my head? They announced Incredibles 3 for some reason. I love the original Incredibles. It's one of my favorite Pixar films, but I didn't think the sequel was very good. Mainly because it was the same movie. I mean, it was like, it takes place immediately following the first film. Like, the first film ends with the Mole Man. No, it's not the Mole Man. The Underminer. The Underminer, popping up, and the family leaps into action, and the sequel starts right there. But the plot of the sequel is the plot of the first movie. They learn exactly the same lessons that they literally just learned, like, earlier that day. Again, I was entertained enough. I mean, there's some great action, some really creative use of powers, cool characters. It's, the performers are all great. It's still fun, but hopefully Incredibles 3 will be a different film. Oh, and they're doing Toy Story 5 for some reason. Well, money is the reason. Or maybe they just had a story that they really needed to tell. Because 4 was okay. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty great. 4 is alright. I mean, yeah, even if ultimately I don't feel it works as a film, and I'm a picky person, so they often do not. There's always going to be a lot of fun things to enjoy. I'm sure it's going to look gorgeous, as Pixar films often do. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of funny jokes. So, did I play the Underminer game? I wasn't aware of an Underminer game. So, nope. Alright, so there's Disney. More stuff to enjoy, at least partially. Very few things from Disney that I outright hate. So, the company, as far as entertaining me goes, is doing an alright job. They talk about any movies? Yeah, they talked about some of like the Marvel movies and stuff, but like nothing new. They're like, we're doing Fantastic Four. It's like, I know. We're doing the Captain America movie. I know. We're doing Thunderbolts Asterix. Yep, heard about that too. Okay, we'll see when they come out. Oh, speaking of Marvel, I'd love to see Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's still double featuring with itself at the drive-in, and if I'm going to drive all the way to the drive-in and see two movies, it better be two different movies. I'm sure Deadpool and Wolverine's lovely, and maybe even worth a rewatch, but, like, not immediately after watching it. I don't want to do that. It's probably going to be the double featuring with itself for 10 weeks, at which point I may as well just wait until it's on streaming and watch it at home. Also, I think most all of the cameos and oh my gosh, what a surprise kind of jokes and gags and stuff have already been spoiled. Just by glancing at the internet. My feelings on it are, if it's not in any of the advertising, leave it alone, right? I mean, the film's only been out for 2 weeks. Come on. Like, I know of a bunch of, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person showed up. How fun. I know a bunch of them. I'm hoping there's something in the film that I don't know about. When I eventually see it, I'll be pleasantly surprised and go, oh, that's nifty. But, even if I do know, even if there are no surprises, I'm sure I get to see Deadpool stabbed in the crotch repeatedly, so that'll be fun. Hello, Chaos. Chaos says Deadpool and Wolverine was a lot of fun. Yeah, my sister really liked it, too. She saw it. I didn't get to see it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a privilege thing. I could have gone to see it, but again, it's double featuring with itself, and I insist on seeing 2 different movies in my double feature. Alright, so, kind of talking about superheroes. I watched the new Batman cartoon, Batman Caped Crusader, and it's all right overall. Thought it was okay. I enjoyed it well enough. Really, what I wanted to talk about though is Amazon Prime and their ad breaks. So, Batman Caped Crusader is on Amazon Prime, and there are ad breaks, which is weird. I thought there weren't ads on Amazon. It's like, what am I paying for? Whatever. The problem I have, however, is where they're inserting the ad breaks. See, when I was young, TV shows aired on television, and they were built for ad breaks. They'd even, like, fade out. You know, you'd be watching your soap opera, and Devin would say, "Oh my gosh, you're sleeping with my sister!" And there'd be a music sting, dun, 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 and Devin would be just aghast, and the actor would hold his aghastness while the camera slowly zoomed in, and then faded out, and then it would cut to, 3 minutes of commercials, and then go back in and continue on the show. Well, for streaming, a lot of shows are not built with ad breaks in mind anymore, and Batman Caped Crusader is one of them, but that's not going to stop Amazon Prime from forcibly inserting ad breaks in the middle of scenes. Nay, not just in the middle of scenes, in the middle of sentences. In fact, I imagine they're probably just, like, inserting the ad break, like, at the midpoint, wherever that happens to be. It's really lazy, Amazon Prime. Come on. Batman's like, "Alfred, make me a ham sandwich, and then we can," and then it cuts to an ad. And you're like, "And then we can what? What are we going to do after the ham sandwich?" And then you watch ads for Progressive Insurance or something, and it comes back, and it's like, "The Joker must be stopped." I'm like, wait, where? What happened? Where are we now? I forget, because you cut in the middle of a sentence. Something about a sandwich. Let's see. For Prime, says Chaos, if you want no ads, you have to pay more. Oh, well, okay. Kind of reminds me of something I'm going to talk about here in a sec. Based on a time algorithm. Just like... Just take care. Just, like, I don't know, have someone go in and manually place it. Well, I mean, you'd have to pay someone to do that. Yeah. I guess Amazon's like, "Oh, well, you don't like it? Okay. Don't watch it then." What are you going to do about it? Watch it somewhere else? Huh? What are you going to do? Buy it on DVD? We're not putting it on physical media, loser. Yeah. But it's it's an interesting show. They've reworked some of the characters, design-wise and personality-wise. So it's not like this. So there's some fun new stuff to discover and enjoy in the show, and it's talking more about Gotham as a place and the relationship of the citizens and the government and the police department within that city. And I think that's an interesting angle to take. I don't think it's entirely successful. It's a little scattershot and doesn't really delve into things as with as much depth and nuance as I'd like in my children's cartoons. But it's got Batman in it. It's pretty good. So, hang on a second. Work life is going very well for me. Oh yes, just got a promotion. So that's pretty cool. They added a number after my job title, so I was like QA Analyst 1, and now I'm QA Analyst 2. Um, Actually, the official title in like the back end of things is something like Quality Assurance Release Management 3 is what I was, and now I'm a 4. Um, what the difference between the two jobs is threes, um, that classification and below. If you have a problem with that employee, you have to engage with the employee and tell them what you have a problem with, and work on a plan and put them through the plan to see if the problem can be resolved before you shit can them. Fours, you just fire them. so, so like that's scary. Um, um, so yeah, this is something that I've known about for several months. My supervisor told me that he was putting in for a promotion for me, probably back in like March or something like that. Um, but there's just a lot of paperwork, a lot of justification, a lot of approvals needed. Them gears turn slowly. But I officially got promoted on July 1st, and it wasn't announced, so I didn't even know until August 1st. And I won't get paid for it until September 1st. So, and also the funny thing about it is, so not only can I be fired immediately without them having to work with me to resolve whatever issues they may have with me, but my promotion, which comes with a raise, which is really lovely, puts me in the next salary band for health insurance, which means that my health insurance now costs $50 a month more, an extra $50 a month. And so it's like, oh, do I have access to more services or greater quality service? No. No, you just make more, so you pay more for the same health insurance now. Tee I'm just making fun. It's fine. I understand how the whole thing works. It's fine. It's just kind of funny to me. But yeah. So it is official. I am now doing exactly the same thing. Well, no, it's not true. I'm not doing exactly the same thing. I am taking on more work. Especially from Mashir, who's my test lead, and Uma, who's the automation lead. Because, yeah, so I'm taking on more responsibility and doing all kinds of fun stuff, and I got a new job title. Well, it's the same job again, same job title, just got a higher number next to it. And making a little bit more money. So things are going pretty darn well for me, and I hope they're going at least as well for you. Because I'm in my 40s now, and graduated college in 2001, when I was but the tender age of 21 years old, and I graduated with a bachelor's science degree in electronics engineering technology, and I could not get a goddamn job. I had a part-time job while I was in college, working for an inventory service. Chicago, hello! And I stayed with them because, needed money for a couple of years until I got a job with their corporate office out here in San Diego, and then I moved out here in 2005. And I worked for them until 2 summers ago. And that was not great pay. In fact, I was way underpaid for what I was doing and my education and and my experience and all kinds of stuff. And I'd been proactively looking for other work, but and I'd been doing interviews and stuff, and I'd talked about them on various podcasts over the years, and I'd come close several times, but just barely missed out. Just wasn't happening for me, and I'd say in the latter half of my 30s, I was essentially just resigning myself to the fact that it's like I'm gonna work here forever. I'm never gonna retire. I'm gonna work till I die. I will just survive. Still doing pretty well. I mean, I've got a place to live. I got a roof over my head. Got food to eat. I can buy the occasional video game, but this is my life, and but I am a stubborn son of a gun. So as deflated and resigned as I was, I did keep at it, and I landed my current job 2 years ago, and it's going really, really well for me, and I'm able to actually contribute to my IRA now, which is something I haven't been able to do since 2015. I mean, anything could happen, right? My apartment could burn down, my appendix could explode, all kinds of horrible stuff can happen. But pending, any of that nastiness, I could actually retire in my 60s. So that's in 20 years or so. That's pretty cool. I never actually expected to be able to do that. But I'm. It took a long time. It took over 20 years to actually get a decent paying job. So it is tough. And I did luck out. So hope y'all are better off or more lucky than me. So hope things are going well for y'all too. Chicago says, "Yeah, I feel that way about my current job. Finding a job that isn't over an hour and a half away, where they say I have to work nights and weekends, is not easy." Oh yeah. I'm lucky. Chaos says, "I can retire 25 years after I die." Yeah, that is a bit of a concern. I'm 44 now, and I don't have a lot of. May have been paying into Social Security for a couple of decades, but who knows if that will be there in 20 years. I should, if life were perfect, my IRA would be a lot larger than it is now. So I'm starting kind of late, but things seem to be working out pretty gosh darn well. So hooray for me. Hope everyone else is as fortunate. So that's that. Talked a bit last week, I think during the Cold Steel stream, about Nayuta, which I finished the other week. And the Legend of Nayuta, Boundless Trails, has a New Game Plus mode. And it's got from what I've read, quite the full-featured New Game Plus mode. It's got, as you'd expect, if you've played any of the other Trails games, you can carry over, weapons and, items and monies and things to the next playthrough. And you might say, oh, there's some extra scenarios, maybe some extra bosses. From what I've read, there's extra side quests, but also all of the levels. This is more of an action RPG. All of the levels have a new coat of paint. So each of the levels in the game, there's 16, I guess. You can flip the seasons, but your first run through the game, you only get to visit each level in 3 different seasons. So from what I've read, if you play through the game a 4th time, you get to play all 16 levels, all 4 seasons. So you've got 64 levels here. Woo! But there's also apparently new characters who like show up at the island with new side stories and more plot. I'm like, wow. No, I'm not gonna play through. I mean, I enjoyed Nayuta pretty well. It's it's a comforting game. It's not particularly engaging. It's fine. Um, but it's like I just finished play. It's kind of like the double featuring, Deadpool and Wolverine double featuring with itself. I just watched the movie. I don't want to watch it again immediately after finishing watching it. I don't want to play Legend of Nayuta again. I mean, if it was something, fair, shorter, like an 8-hour game, like Ubisoft's Prince of Persia from the early 2000s, or well, also Ubisoft's Beyond Good and Evil, those games are like 7 or 8 hours. It's like, oh, there's more. Okay, this was a hell of a lot of fun. I want it to be longer. If you're going to add more story and more side quests and stuff, okay. But this is an RPG. I put like 60 hours into it. I don't want to. I don't want to go through it again. So, I mean, I appreciate them, having a very robust, fully featured new game plus, but as I hurtle inevitably towards my ceasing to exist, I find myself less and less willing to rewatch or replay anything. I rarely ever rewatch movies. I almost never replay video games, because I'm about half. If everything goes well, I'm about halfway through my life. It's like I ain't got. This is finite time, man. I ain't got time to rewatch movies or replay games. I want to experience as much cool stuff as I can while I'm here. Jared says, just search the internet for a third file save data for first playthrough. Screw the tutorials. There you go. I actually didn't know that until I finished the game. Otherwise, I may have started with a new game plus. Because this, unlike some of the others we've seen in Trails, this feels like, I mean, I hope it's just fun extra stuff, if I played it, I wouldn't be like, this should be in the first playthrough. This is important plot stuff. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think Jared and Brian were talking to me about, was it Cold Steel 2? Where it's like, you should really play it through on New Game Plus, because there's like story stuff that's really important that you don't see in the first playthrough. But we'll see when we get there. Nayuta, overall, probably my least favorite of the Trails game. Definitely my least favorite of the Trails games I've played so far. But yeah, it was a fun little side distraction. It's Cold Steel 2, if you don't New Game Plus, still playing through, what the hell's it called? Persona 5 something or other, the Muso one, Strikers. A lot, so much better, the pacing is so much better in this game. For me, this is more my speed. The story is still slow. Like, the game has a structure, but there's a lot of actual playing the game. But there's also really long stretches of just so much dialogue. I mean, literally, the cutscenes feel like they're 2 hours long. Some of them. And they're not cutscenes; they're sitting there just a buttoning through the dialogue, or X buttoning, whichever button it is, just buttoning through the dialogue, and I think those games could really benefit from some judicious editing. Just tighten that shit up a bit. It's like, we get it. It's just so long. I'm enjoying it though. The combat, probably my least favorite of the Muso games I've played so far. Like, I understand why they're doing everything the way they're doing it, because they're preserving the Persona 5-ness of it all, which I understand and pretty much agree with, but the problem I have is with most Muso games, you pick a character, and then you head out into the field, and then you just wall up endless hordes of enemies, right? In this game, you pick 4 of your 7 or 8 characters to be in your main crew, and you all run out in the field and beat up hordes of enemies. The problem is that your 3 companions are on the screen summoning their own personas all the time, and it's so much visual noise that it gets really cluttered. Like, it's like I can't see anything because Haru's persona is in the way. Like, you have 3 other people summoning their damn personas. I'm like, wait a minute, is that? Oh no, that's Motoko's persona. That's not. I've ended up attacking Captain Kidd a few times. I'm like, oh wait, that's not an enemy, right? So maybe it doesn't lend itself to the Muso formula as cleanly as some other IPs I've quite enjoyed get the Muso treatment, but I do feel that it's much more accommodating to my tastes as a gamer, particularly as far as pacing goes. So I'm still playing it, still enjoying it. Let's see. And lastly, I would like to talk about Monster Hunter, because Capcom has started really leaning into its marketing for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is scheduled, they've only said 2025, but in their last shareholders meeting, I think it was, they mentioned that they're expecting like a 10% profit or something from the sales of Monster Hunter Wilds for this fiscal year, which means it's got to come out before March 31st, and probably at least a few weeks before March 31st, so that they can actually sell it and make money during this fiscal year. So my guess would probably be, end of January, beginning of February, somewhere around that range. I seriously doubt it's gonna, I'd say late February at the latest, but probably, looking around my birthday. Anyway, so they've been talking more about it. Apparently, they're going to have some gameplay presentations at Gamescom that's coming up. Right now, they are releasing their weapon videos. So every day, they are releasing a 50 to 60 second spot highlighting one of the probably 14 weapons in the game, unless they're adding a new one that they haven't told us about yet. And, kudos to Capcom. They actually mentioned on their social media site, hey, we're going to be doing these throughout the weekend, too. So, because I was wondering about that. I'm like, should I stay up to see which weapon drops at 1 o'clock in the morning my time on Saturday and Sunday, or is that just a weekdays thing? And it was nice of them to actually say, oh, we're going to, to let us know either way. I would have been perfectly fine if they were saving it just for the weekdays. Cool. But I appreciate them letting us know. Let's see. I would like it to... Jared says, I'd like it to come out before Kuro 2, since it has the same release window. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to play Kuro 2 in 2025. Brian tried to... guesstimated... what did he say? Like 2032 or something like that is when I'll catch up. Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds looks pretty cool. What we've seen so far, they're finally starting to show. The earliest marketing for the game was showing off, in my opinion, a bit too much. Here's the world. It's like, cool, it's pretty, but I'm here to hit monsters with sticks. Can we see the the monsters and the sticks with which we hit them. Also, really, the Monster Hunter is just an excuse to play dress up. It's beating the snot out of monsters so you can carve their hides to make a cool hat. That's what Monster Hunter is. That's what you're hunting them for. Are they a threat to the environment or to a population of peoples that are just trying to get by? No, they just minding their own business, but you could make a real nice hat out of their butt, so so you got to go out there and kill them. But apparently you're only allowed to like use one claw per monster, so you have to say if you need 3 claws for your new pair of pants, you're going to have to kill at least 3 monsters. And sometimes the claws just aren't good enough, so you're going to have to kill even more. Monster Hunter's great. I love Monster Hunter. It is definitely less so now than it was a decade plus ago, but it's one of those games that is, one, not for everyone, and no game is really, right? But 2, even if the game is for you, you have to want it. It's not a game that you can say, "Oh yeah, I think I'll check out Monster Hunter for half an hour, see if I vibe with it." No, that's not long enough. No, you're gonna have to block out the afternoon. You're gonna have to sit there and work for at least 5 hours to try and like this game. It's an investment. And that is an unfair ask for any gamer. And if there's any gamer who's like... It's like... One thing I love about Monster Hunter is it broadly is one of those fandoms that has almost no toxicity, at least in my fortunate experience. It's kind of like the Trails fandom or the Gem and the Holograms fandom. I've never run into, those truly toxic, horrible people, like gatekeepy jerkwads who seem to get off on making everyone else miserable. Just doesn't seem to be a thing, which is lovely. And Monster Hunter seems to be one of those franchises. I'm sure there are dark corners somewhere, but for the most part, Monster Hunter fans are really excited to bring other people in, right? Do I make use of transmog in the game? Not usually. Occasionally, but not usually. I think they added that in World or Iceborne. And, usually I'm pretty happy with the outfits as they are, even if I'm making some weird Frankenstein monster outfit from a bunch of different things. One of my favorites from, I think, Iceborne was the super muscle suit. I wore the legs of that. For those who don't know, there's in the game you carve monster parts and you use the monster parts to build armor sets, and those sets are the headpiece, the chest piece, the legs piece, the arms piece. Did I miss a piece? Isn't there 5? Head, arms, chest, legs. That's only 4. Isn't there a 5th? What am I missing? I don't remember. But there's different pieces, and you can mix and match. You don't have to kill the Rathalos, which is a big dragon, and make the hat and the boots. Maybe it's shoes. I don't remember. Make the hat and the boots and the gloves and the pants and all that, and wear things. You can wear a Rathalos hat and an Oregon pants and a Pookie bracers or something like that. And there's also special events where you get special outfits, right? Belts. That's what it is. Thank you, Jared. There's also special events where you get the recipes to make special outfits, which a lot of times are like, other Capcom character skins. Like you can dress like Ryu from Street Fighter or Mega Man from Mega Man, or not a Capcom game, but Geralt from The Witcher. They had a collaboration there once. But they also do have fun things like they had the muscle suit, which was like posing trunks. Like if you're doing a bodybuilding competition, you wear posing trunks. They had that, and you're like, well, what about the headpiece and the chest piece and stuff? Sometimes some of these outfits are just like pants or just a headpiece. Like they just sell funny hats. But the funny thing about the I think you had to beat what is it, Rajang, that mean monkey monster. I think you had to beat two of those at once to get these, and you had to farm them because you had to get a couple of them. So it's not only just the posing trunks, but it's like a fake chest and legs. So your character is fairly lithe in physique. They're athletic, but they're not like huge and bulky. This costume made you big and bulky. So I liked wearing the pants, which were these big, huge quadded legs, along with just some really weird, ostentatious, peacocky top. Like Leslie's my character in Monster Hunter. Like she'd forgot her pants at some point. It was just walking around with her gigantic thighs, and I had a picture of that on my Twitter at some point, joking that Leslie never skips leg day. The problem with the pants, with that costume, is the skin tone of the costume was just a set value. So if your character is of a different skin color than than what that outfit was, it would look really weird. But luckily, you can actually change the color values of your costume. So I was able to fairly closely match the skin tone of my character's pants to their actual skin tone, which was fun. Yeah, I loved wandering around. I think I did a transmog for that because I don't remember what that means. If anyone doesn't know, is like you're wearing an outfit that you get all of the various outfit buffs and skills from, but but it looks like you're wearing a completely different pair of pants if visually you want it. Another thing is like particularly for the male characters, most of the male armor sets have full helmets. It's one of the reasons I like to play the female characters, because their headgear usually has their face exposed, and if I spend time picking my character's cheekbones and their hair and a cool scar across their eye, I want to see their damn face. I don't want to hide it in a helmet. It's probably very hot in that thing anyway. This is what I'm thinking about for, because Leslie and Bob are definitely coming back for Monster Hunter Wilds, which I don't have a PS5, but I did get a promotion, so I can probably afford one in the next half year. Of course, I may want to. I don't have a 4K TV, so it's like, should I buy a PS5 and a 4K TV? Do I need to buy a new capture card? I'm not going to stream in 4K. I'm not going to record in 4K. Maybe the capture card I'm using will be fine, but I'm probably need to buy a different cable, and then I'm going to need to use a different switcher box. This is going to be expensive, but I did get a promotion, so I can probably afford it. But the question is, in Monster Hunter World, we had our Palika. Leslie was our hunter, and our Palika was Bob. We went over to Monster Hunter Rise, and I rebuilt Leslie and Bob. But we got a new friend, the Palamute, and I named him Not Bob because he was not Bob. So we had Leslie, Bob, and Not Bob. So in Monster Hunter Wilds, we have the Seikret, which is a big bird-looking thing that you ride. So you're riding around on the back of like an ostrich. And I'm trying to think. I'm brainstorming new names, like Not Bob 2, Not Bob. That might imply that it is Bob. I don't know. I've been thinking about so a couple different forms of it. Bob Janai. I I was thinking maybe taxi, because that's all I'm gonna use that thing for. And it would amuse me to no end to stand in the middle of the desert and yell taxi, and have my little Seikret come up and drive me to where I'm going. That would amuse me to no end. So let's see. So far, we've seen Great Sword, which is the Laura's favorite weapon, of course, from Cold Steel. Let's see. We Long Sword was today. What else did they show? I think they showed Gun Lance, Hunting Horn. Let's see. Mirror Bob, Dark Bob. That's not bad. I like that. Not Chocobo. It does look like a Chocobo. That's better. Less ostrich, more cross between a Chocobo and a Velociraptor. At least as they're portrayed in the Jurassic Park movies. Let me pull out my spreadsheet because I've been writing down names. I like that. What was it? Dark Bob. That's good. Bob Jr. That's not bad. Or maybe even not Bob Jr. I do have not Bob the Second, so Bubba Bobberang. Okay. So I need to figure out, because I usually play a new weapon. I usually main one weapon. A lot of people play the field. Me, I'm a pretty monogamous Monster Hunter weapon person. So I started my Monster Hunter journey in Tri, and I used Sword and Shield. Then I played 3 Ultimate, and I played Hunting Horn. Then I didn't play 4 Ultimate because I really, really, really did not want to play Monster Hunter on the gosh darn handheld. But then Monster Hunter World came around a couple years ago, and I played Charge Blade, and I loved it so much I continued playing Charge Blade in Iceborne. But when we switched over to Rise, I decided it was time for a new weapon, and I played the Dual Blades, and then Sunbreak I didn't play. And I, for some reason, silly as it is, I kind of feel bad about it. Like I feel like I was kind of rude for not playing Sunbreak. Like I didn't go to a friend's birthday party, not because I was busy, but because I just didn't want to go. It's like, hey, Andrew, you weren't at my birthday party. It's like, yeah, sorry about that. Oh, couldn't make it? No, I could have. I just didn't want to. It's like, I just kind of feel like an ass. And I don't know why. So, one of the interesting traits about our taxi, our Negabob, that's not bad either. Hey, Cafe. Negabob. Is you can carry 2 weapons, not on your person, but your pack horse there, your pack chocobo. Legally distinct chocobo. So maybe I'll main 2 weapons. Or maybe I'll go with an old favorite like Charge Blade and add in, I don't know, what haven't I played? Maybe I'll try one of the ranged weapons again. The ranged ones, bowgun, light bowgun, or medium bowgun if trying 3 Ultimate, and bow have just never clicked with me. I don't know. Maybe Gunlance. Maybe Gunlance, because I don't like Lance. I've never liked Lance. Although they haven't shown off Wild's Lance yet, so maybe they've tweaked Lance in a way that would make me go, ooh, that looks neat. But Lance has always bored me. Lance is one of the big shieldy weapons, and it's a very tanky weapon. you're supposed to stand there with the shield and poke, poke, poke at the monster. I'm like, I don't want to poke, poke, poke at the monster. Gun lance though is that, but it has a gun on the end of the lance, so you poke, 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 kaboom, which is pretty funny. So, Chocobob, that's not bad either. Chocobob, I actually like that. That's pretty good. Let's see. Jared says got the hammer, switch axe, great sword, and much more to choose from. Yeah, I think there's 14 in total. I don't know. Great sword has always just been too slow for my taste. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had with because it's just a big heavy sword that you can't do much with it except these huge overhead slams that take so much momentum that lifts the character off the floor. I really love the animation of the great sword. It's great fun to watch, but I need a bit more. Me personally, I feel like I need a bit more mobility in my weapon. Switch axe, maybe. Although it seems kind of weird to be playing both charge blade and switch axe, the two transforming weapons. Let's see. Cafe Fox says I had a PS5 with a 1080 and 4K. There is a difference, but it's not enough to break the bank if you're concerned. Yeah, I might go with the PS5 and then upgrade it. This TV is getting pretty. I mean, this TV is. Let me think. Had in the last place. This TV is a decade old, but it's still holding up. It's a nice TV. It's still fine. But yeah, one thing I like about talking about fandoms, because I'm watching the Capcom's, hey, look at the new weapon. Here's 50 seconds. Enjoy. YouTube is like, oh, you want to watch nothing but Monster Hunter videos from Monster Hunter peoples. I'm like, no, but okay. And what I'm seeing is exclusively excitement, which is great to see. I'm just seeing a bunch of people genuinely excited for more Monster Hunter, and that's really lovely. What I'm not seeing is people going, oh, this sucks, and just making 6-hour videos every single day of the week, pooping on Monster Hunter for some reason. I don't know, because birds are stupid. We don't, and monsters shouldn't have tongue attacks. That's lame. Or there's too much sand. I hate it. It's rough and coarse, and it gets everywhere. I do also have to hand it to Capcom. They're doing a pretty decent job of showing off a desert area and not making it look as boring as Square Enix made Nier Automata look when they were advertising that game. Because they're like, the marketing department's like, hey, we've got this really cool game that actually is gorgeous, but let's exclusively do our marketing from the desert and the gray crumbling buildings. It's like, should we get the overgrown area of the gray crumbling buildings, get a little splash of color, greenery in there? No. We want to market this game exclusively with the colors gray and brown. That's it. We want a woman in black running across brown sand next to a gray building fighting gray robots. And that's why I had absolutely no interest in Nier Automata. And then everyone was saying, the game's amazing. I'm like, oh, is it? Okay, because the marketing makes it look crap. And then I downloaded the demo for it, and I played it, and I went, oh, excuse me while I go buy this game now. And I bought the game. It's great. Love Nier Automata. It almost feels criminal, right? Like Square Enix should be sentenced to community service or something for bad marketing. Bad marketing. You made a phenomenal game look bad. How dare you? What's wrong with you, Square Enix? But yeah, I like Monster Hunter, and I think the reason I didn't play Sunbreak is because Rise just there was a lot I enjoyed it. I mean, I dumped 170 hours or some obnoxious number into Rise, but I think a lot of the problem was Rise was too easy. Like, I'm not a good Monster Hunter player. I'm okay, but I can play the game. But I literally never carted once in Rise. Not I never failed a quest. I literally never carted. Now, to be fair, there were probably about 2 or 3 instances where I should have carted, and I just got really lucky. Like, Bob drew the monster's aggro while I was, laying dizzy on the ground or something like that. But, yeah, so it's probably a lack of challenge, and also when they were advertising Sunbreak, it made it look like there were only 3 new monsters in the game. Like, they kept advertising, it's like, oh, here's the Almadron or whatever it's called, only it's a lava version. I'm like, I mean, okay, I mean, I don't begrudge you making subspecies and stuff, but how many flavors of Raytheon and Rathalos do we really need? Because Sunbreak had the vampire dragon, it had the werewolf thing, and it had that green golem thing. And I'm like, okay, there's 3. And it had a few returning monsters. It had that crab monster that's from a way earlier version, like Monster Hunter Frontier or 2 or something like that, that I'd never played. So that would have been new to me. I'm sure there's a boss to Sunbreak, so there's probably at least 5 or 6 new monsters in there, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So never played it. But quite looking forward to Wilds. The 3 monsters, well, there's a lightning dragon there somewhere that they haven't really shown off, but the 3 monsters that they're shown look pretty cool. I'm liking the outfits and the weapons that they like. The longsword today just has like steel plates bolted on the back of it for some reason, which is a funny design choice. Let's see, Doshigama I think is one of them. Chatacabra is the one with the Pookie tongue. We know Rathalos is going to be in there. There's a lightning dragon, and then there's what's the graboid looking thing? Balahara or something. At least those are the English names, I think. Usually, the Japanese and English names are pretty different. It's usually like Pokemon. The Japanese and the English names are just completely different. Sometimes they're almost exactly the same, but a lot of times they're very different. Like Pikachu's Pikachu. Anyway, okay, it's past 8, and I'm done blabbering. So, that's it for tonight. Thank you for giving me some really fun suggestions for the Seikret's name. Game doesn't come out for like 5 or 6 months, but can't hurt to plan. So, hope you're all having a great week, and hope you'll join me tomorrow morning, or, well, tomorrow afternoon, for tomorrow at noon, for some more Cold Steel fun. Our free day is over, so I would assume have, Sarah probably has a new training robot for us to beat on, and then she's going to send us on a field trip, I would assume. Alright. So, that's it for me. Oh yeah, I have to go shopping. I don't want to, but I gotta. Oh, if you saw my Twitter, I bought spicy honey, because I was at Trader Joe's last night, and I needed honey, and they had spicy honey. I was like, spicy honey? Okay, I'll try that. I was expecting, like, just honey with a tinge of heat. No, this is kick you in the groin levels of ouch. I mean, I'm overselling it a bit because I'm very weak sauce when it comes to spice, but golly, it is hot. Like, I was not expecting that out of honey. So, I mean, if you want spicy honey, they sell it at Trader Joe's, and then you can probably spoonful it in your mouth and go, I don't know what Andrew's talking about. This is weak sauce. So, alright, that's it for me. Have a lovely rest of your evening, everyone, and hope to see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream. Take care. Bye-bye.